Recording here as well. And hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining our live stream today. My name is Hani, and I'm the Education USA advisor in the Czech Republic. I am also based in the Fulbright Commission in Prague. And today, my special guest is Adriana from the University of the Pacific, more specifically from the McGeorge Law School. Hello, how are you?
Ahoy, friends. Thank you for having me today.
Hello, it's actually pretty cool, guys, because Adriana is currently in the Czech Republic. So great to have you. Thank you so much for joining.
Thank you for the
Um,
invitation. It's a pleasure.
so first off, I'll introduce Czech Education USA a little bit for those of you who don't know us yet. And then we will dive into the law education in the United States topic. So Education USA in general is a network that will help you guys guide you through the entire application process to American universities and colleges. We provide all the information free of charge. We are unbiased. We are trying to give you up-to-date information. So if you are currently at high school and your dream is to study at American institution, let me know. There will be my contact information, and you can just send me an email saying, hey, I saw this live stream. I am interested. It doesn't have to be law education. It can be any major you are interested in, and we are happy to help. So if we can click, Adriana, please, on to the next slide. You will see, that we are a network and we are happy to help. I also can advise about work and travel opportunities or au pair opportunities or short-term programs, but the main area that I do is getting your degree-seeking education. So let's move on. And here you can see a map. So my main advising center is located in Prague in the Fulbright Commission. But if you're not from Prague, that's totally okay. You can always reach out to me via email, advisor@fulbright.cz. And if you are close to these cities on the right, such as Pilsen, Ústí, Olomouc, Brno, Ostrava, we do have American centers there. So they are all around the Czech Republic. And these guys can also do advising. They have books if you are preparing for your TOEFL or for your SATs. They have prep books you can borrow. And yeah, you can just stop by and say hello. For instance, in Ústí, the advising center is run by a native speaker. So if you want to practice your English or just prepare something in English, you can definitely stop by and Annie will take care of you. And lastly, before I hand it over to Adriana on the next slide, it just shows what we do free of charge for you. So we offer consultations. If you have questions or your parents have questions about studying in the US, I'm so happy to connect with you online or in person. We can schedule an appointment, and I'm happy to answer any of your concerns or questions. We have a library as well, so new SAT prep books and so forth. And we do live streams and webinars and events. So live streams such as this one yesterday with Adriana, we actually talked about LinkedIn account and how to network. So super useful. You can see the live stream session on our Facebook. You will also find it on YouTube channel. And if you read our newsletter, you will find out about more events that we do. And if you would like to meet in person, we have a big networking event on June 25th. So stop by. It's going to be in Prague, and you will meet other enthusiasts about the USA. Everything can be found online under the handle Education USA Czech. So check us out and follow us. And now let's dive into the topic of law education that is very popular. I know many students who decided to go and study law in the US, but I just wanted to show you, and Adriana will show you because she's an expert in that area, what is different, what are the positives, and so forth. So let's just do that. And if you guys have any questions, feel free to type your questions underneath the live stream. Thank you, Adriana. The floor is yours.
Thank you so much for hosting me. It's a pleasure. First time here in Prague, and now having the opportunity to share great information with all of you. Of course, we are talking about law education in the United States, but I want to emphasize that if you are considering other areas
Mhm,
for, your education, some of the principles, the approaches do apply to you.
mhm,
So this is uh, just to give you an overall idea as to if you were to study in the United States, what would be the steps necessary? We're talking about what do you do before you go,
mhm,
what do you do during and
mhm,
afterwards to maximize the experience that you are going to have overseas if that's your dream.
mhm,
The goal today is to share information that will help you to make a wise decision.
mhm,
Information is power, therefore, you can uh, ahead of time establish a strategic plan from A to Z.
mhm,
This is designed for you to start thinking about who you are, what you want, and
mhm,
what are the ways to get where you need to be. There
mhm,
are many ways, when we talk about law in the United States. I
mhm,
know that our systems are different.
mhm,
Every country has a different judicial system. So,
mhm,
for example, I am originally from São Paulo, Brazil.
mhm,
And in Brazil, we have the civil law system. In
mhm,
other words, it is a system that is based on the codes. So we have
mhm,
the criminal law code, the civil law code. We
mhm,
go to law school for 5 years. After you graduate, you do the bar exam, which
mhm,
is the exam that you do in order to become a licensed attorney in
mhm,
this country. Now, the United States is different.
mhm,
What they have is called the common law system. So
mhm,
basically, they put together all these past judgments and these become law. So
mhm,
depending on your case, you're going to use certain cases to compare and contrast and make an argument to the
mhm,
judge.
mhm.
Again, this is an overview, very basic information, just to understand why would you want to study
Yeah.
common law system? What are the benefits? Why would you go even you know, through more schooling when you are probably happy with the law school, which we know it's very challenging.
Uh-huh.
I don't care what language you speak, it's a foreigner language in itself, law,
Yeah.
because it's very complex.
Uh-huh.
But it's also very powerful when you know how to use the law to benefit yourself, to benefit your community, to defend your clients,
Mhm,
or if you are representing internationally. That's the key here. How
mhm,
can you maximize the knowledge if you were to work internationally with law or law related? Even if
mhm,
you're thinking about international business, like if you purchase a cup of coffee, there is a contract between you, client,
uh-huh,
and the person who is selling a cup of coffee.
mhm,
So little things that can make a difference. If there is a dispute between
mhm,
my company in the United States and the company here in the Czech Republic, where do we go? Do we go to the court here and there in the United States? Do I go to the court here in Czech Republic? Who is to judge
mhm,
our contract dispute?
mhm,
So again, to give you an overall, why would you benefit? And there are many ways
mhm,
to go about studying law in the United States. So
mhm,
let me give you an overview.
mhm,
You're looking at the screen that I listed, the Juris Doctor, the
mhm,
Masters of Law, which is the LLM,
mhm,
the Doctor of Judicial Science,
mhm.
which is basically the PhD in law.
Okay.
We also have exchange programs and
Mhm,
visiting scholars.
mhm,
So I'm sharing, guys, at least 5 options, 5 ways to get from where you are to the United States to study law.
mhm,
And all programs are different. And I'll give you an overview.
mhm,
The Juris Doctor, which is the JD, even though it's a little misleading, and I have to explain this to you very quickly. Juris Doctor, you'd think that we're talking about a PhD, right? Because doctor, not really. It's a misleading word. You are a doctor of law, but it's basically after 3 years of law in the United States, you
mhm,
um, become a Juris Doctor. In other words, you qualify to sit for the California bar, for example, or New York bar to
mhm,
become a licensed attorney. So
mhm,
you study for 3 years, could be full-time or part-time, depending. You
mhm,
complete 80 units just to give you an idea of how much time will take you to complete this program full-time or part-time. It does require the LSAT or GRE. These are standardized tests. LSAT is the law school admission test, which is very competitive. It's a complex test because there is a score, a minimum score that you need to reach in order to be accepted into the law school. And it qualifies you for the bar exam. And you can also do a fast track with the LLM. So you can do the Juris Doctor, which is a 3-year, and you can fast track, in other words, if you are good on your grades, you can do a LLM. So you have a JD, the Juris Doctor, and a Master's of Law at the same time. Of course, this is a very heavy load, but in the United States, this comes after you complete your pre-law. So you go to law school. In fact, before you go to law school, let me back up a little bit. You do the undergraduate, which is about a 4-year undergraduate program that you can do, for example, philosophy or arts or education or business or chemistry or whatever you want to do under your undergraduate program. For those who think already want to be a lawyer, want, to do the law school, they do take some pre-law classes like criminal justice, philosophy, logic, some things that will relate to law later during the undergraduate program. They do the LSAT. They apply for the Juris Doctor, which is a 3-year program. Then they complete the JD. They have a Bachelor's of Law, the LLB, at the end of the 3 years. That's one option. Most of the American law students, I would say all the American law students go through the Juris Doctor program to become lawyers. That's the goal. Sit for the bar and become lawyers. Now, I understand here in your country, you already have that law school. You don't have to do undergrad, pre-law, and then law. It's Honey was explaining to me. Is it a total of 5 years, Honey?
I think so. I'm not sure if it's 5 or 6, but you guys, this is the huge difference that I'm going to stress out one more time. Here, you apply to law school. After high school, you graduate from high school, you apply to law school, and you go straight all the way becoming a lawyer. In the US, you apply for undergraduate, which in Czech language would be bakalář. You spend 4 years, and then you apply to law school. Okay, so it's 4 extra years where you can do pre-law, as Adriana mentioned, criminal justice courses and so forth, but you don't apply to law school right after high school. That's the big difference. Yeah, thank you.
So then that's why the LLM, which is the next option called, the Masters of Law, are very interesting for people like me, for example. I completed my Bachelor's of Law from Brazil. And the next step for me to learn more about the common law system in the United States was to do an LLM program. So the programs that are offered in the United States are designed for those students who have finished their law degree back home. They want to specialize in a certain area of law, and or they want that exposure to the common law system in the United States and other countries like UK and I believe in Australia, where they have the common law system. So you understand the logic, you understand how to do international business, international transactions, international disputes. So you need to know how the other country operates so you can be that attorney, that advocate that knows how to deal with the law in different parts of the world. So that's why the LLM, it's very appealing to law students who just finished their law school, to legal professionals at any area of law. They could be prosecutors, they could be lawyers, they could be professors or scholars. As long as they have the LLB, the Bachelor's of Law, they qualify to do an LLM program. The LLM program too, the good thing about it's a quick, 1 year you can complete in 2 semesters. So in 1 year you can finish your LLM program. You can extend to 3 semesters, depending on your time. And of course, this has also a cost. You complete 24 units. Look, 88 units for the Juris Doctor and 24 units. Do you see the difference? That's why you can complete in 1 year, in 2 semesters. You divided the 24 units into semesters, 12 and 12. It's a very doable, manageable, load, and you can definitely successfully complete your LLM program.
Yeah.
The good thing about the LLM, you guys, is that you do not need the LSAT, the Law School Admission Test. This is huge because foreigners, people like me and you, we are not raised in the United States. So all the basics like biology, math, language, English, literature, we don't have it. So it's very challenging to pass an exam and score high if you haven't taught the same way the Americans have. So the advantage of the LLM is that you do not need to present your LSAT scores. They do require a proficiency in English. So some schools, they accept TOEFL or Cambridge or even Duolingo nowadays.
Yeah.
And every school has a different score. But if you have, and I believe you all, my experience, you guys speak English really well. This has been a great opportunity for me going outside and talking to people. So there might not be a difficulty for you guys there. And again, some legal professionals, some law students that do the LLM in the United States, after they complete the 24 units, they are eligible, for the most part, to do the bar exam. The bar exam is the ability for you to become a licensed lawyer, let's say in California or New York or DC or anywhere. There are 50 states that you can become a lawyer, right? So popular bar exams are California, New York. They are the most, competitive just because the location. And can you imagine you are a licensed lawyer back home here in the Czech Republic, and then you are a licensed lawyer in the United States? Wow. There is such a heavy weight on your career, you bump you up. It's because of the knowledge. Remember I said in the beginning, knowledge is power, because now you understand how the laws operate around the world, and you become so useful for your company, for your organization, because you know how to deal with the contracts conflicts, how to solve problems, because basically that's what lawyers do, right? We solve problems. We try.
Yeah.
We solve legal problems, right?
Yeah, true.
And just one detail about the Masters of Law program is that the OPT that you see here is basically it's the optional practical training. This allows you to stay one extra year in the United States after you finish your NLM to do training. What is that? You're going to work. You're going to put hands on everything that you learn in theory. You're going to practice. Not only will look good on your resume because now you have worked for an American company in California, New York, Washington, whatever you want to go in the United States. There are 50 states to choose from. But you have the practical knowledge. So let's say if you want to work with immigration, if you want to work with intellectual property or human rights or environmental law, whatever that might be, that area of specialization, now you have the opportunity to work for 1 year, legally work for 1 year. That's important. Practice those skills that you learn in theory and enhance your capability of employment. You come back home here to the beautiful Czech Republic, and guess what? You're powerful because you have knowledge, because you have the experience. So that's the good thing about the LLM. This is one of the pathways. Now, for those of you, for example, that say, this is a great opportunity, but I'm thinking about more in the scholarly, in the I would like to teach or I would like to write articles. Great, there's an option for you too. One of the options called the JSD. Basically, is the Doctor of Juridical Science. Now we are talking about the PhD in law. That's where you become a doctor of law in a sense, in the lato sense of the word, right? This program is for those who have, the Bachelor's of Law from their home country. They probably have completed a Master's of Law with their education. And then they say, I want to work in the academia world. That's my goal, right? So those students, they apply, they accept into a program. It lasts about 4 or more years, depending on how long it takes for you to complete your thesis and defend it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. As I said, you have your bachelor's of law and your master's already from your home country or from the United States.
Mm-hmm.
There is a part of request
Mm-hmm.
of residency of 12 units. So
Mm-hmm.
you can do it in 1 year, you complete those 12 units
Mm-hmm.
on campus in person. You're
Mm-hmm.
going to be meeting with your professor advisor.
Mm-hmm.
And then you move to the candidacy um, phase, which is the dissertation. You
Okay.
can either stay in the United States and complete your dissertation, use the library, use your professor, use the resources, use the
Mm-hmm.
courts, whatever it is that you need to complete your dissertation, or you can come back home and complete your dissertation back home, as long as you still are obviously in touch with your supervisor.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this is up level. This is like the highest title one can have in the law field, right? You
Mm-hmm.
have a PhD in law.
Mm-hmm.
So, if you're not convinced, there are other options.
Uh-huh.
Let's say, look, I this sounds amazing, but
Mm-hmm.
maybe I'm not ready to leave my country for a year or four, right?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe
Yeah.
I'm not there with my finances. I
Mm-hmm.
get it. What would be other options?
Mm-hmm.
A very common way to also have that experience, but for a short but sweet period of time, is called exchange students,
Mm-hmm.
exchange program, right? In other words, you may as well ask your university if they have partnerships with this, law schools all over the world, including
Mm-hmm.
California, including the United States,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because the importance of a partnership is that they facilitate, they welcome you. They most likely will accept you because of the partnership that are there to support the students to come and go.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have the opportunity to study for a semester.
Mm-hmm.
You complete 12 units, which is very doable, very manageable. Okay. You have that integration with the JD American Law students
Mm-hmm.
for that period of time. It's intense, but it's sweet and it's short and gives you that glimpse of what would be like to be in the United States.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not only the professional, the career, the academic
Mm-hmm.
exposure, but it's also cultural. When you live in another country, and Honey knows that, how much do you learn? You
Mm-hmm.
learn about their culture, their language, the way they think, the way they live, their society. It's like me. I'm here and I'm just sitting on the beautiful square and looking at the buildings and the people and the food, and I'm trying to digest all this. It's fantastic. Of course, I was sitting because I'm tired. I've been walking all day and I love it. I love it because I'm learning. There's so much to do and see and hear. And it's the same. Can you imagine you go to another country and like, wow, this is how they do law. This is how they do business. Why? It's
Mm-hmm.
the cultural experience
Mm-hmm.
because we're all humans and we do things differently depending on where you live, based on your customs,
Mm-hmm.
based on the country, based on location, based on the weather. Like all the things are connected. So
Mm-hmm.
this is not only law, this is life, an opportunity that you might have just to leave your country for, even if it's for 6 months, it
Mm-hmm.
will change your life forever. This is, I guarantee you,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
because it's a transformative experience. It's that cultural shock that you're like, whoa, this is different. Why do they do this? And you start asking questions and you start asking yourself how we live and are there ways to improve?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So there you go. Exchange program, 6 months. There is a lot of integration with other law students. In this case, we're talking about law, but again, you can apply to different areas
Mm-hmm.
in professions. And you also have that networking. Again,
Exactly.
doing the LLM program, doing the exchange program, doing the visiting scholar, which is the next option, you're going to be socializing, you're going to be interacting with professionals from all over the world.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know where else you can go and meet so many professionals that can help you
Mm-hmm.
and you can help each other, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can make a friend who is a judge, I don't know, in Japan or a lawyer in Dubai, you
Mm-hmm.
know,
Mm-hmm.
for example, and then you make that connection because you never know where your life is going to take you. It's always good to have someone you can pick up the phone and say, hey, I have this situation. Where do I go? What do I do?
Mm-hmm.
Help. right? And vice versa. So it's so rich, the program, it can be so rich if you use it strategically because of the networking opportunity itself. It's so worth it, the time and the money that you spend overseas.
Yeah.
And lastly, just to complete the options here, visiting scholar. Let's say, look, I'm not ready to do the LLM program, much less the Doctor of Juridical Science or an exchange program. But I am working on research. Is there a way that I can go to the United States, study law in this case, but there are other areas, okay? And stay there for maybe 1, 2 semesters, do some research. If that's where you are, there is a program called Visiting Scholar. Most of the universities have the Visiting Scholar program. Basically, it's research-based. You can come for 1 or 2 semesters, depending on your ability, time, and budget, right? And you come to the university and you spend 1 semester or 2, 3 semesters, depends on what you need. Use the library, all the resources, which is great, depending on your research theme. You have the professors to support you, to guide you. You can go to the courts. You can watch the legislature sessions. There's so much richness in those programs. And you're not taking classes. See, there's no units. There's no requirement.
Yeah.
But it's not a degree. You're not going to have a degree. You're going to have probably a certificate that you have concluded that visiting scholar program. It's not less or more, it's a different category, I would say. It kind of depends on what you want. Can you do it? How long can you be away from home? How long can you, sustain yourself for that time? And are there scholarships? How can the school support or assist you? Can you live on campus, right? Or do you have to look for housing? I mean, how does that work?
Yeah.
So just to give you an overall summary, so there are different pathways that you can experience studying law overseas, studying law in the United States specifically, but these approaches apply to any other country, to be very honest with you, is to think about where you are, what you're doing, what would you like to experience according to your time, budget, your family situation, and your desire to adventure yourself into a new culture and to be open to learn.
Yeah, I
So,
mean, you guys, I totally understand that this looks like such a huge commitment for such a long time, and I totally get it. But that's why I love the exchange program. Like, honestly, just go try it for a semester. 12 units is awesome, manageable, and talk to people and research and ask them for experience. That's something that's just irreplaceable, and just enjoy these connections. And as Adriana said, you never know who you're gonna need in the future. So connect and exchange addresses or LinkedIn accounts, and just make sure that this is the path you want to dive into. Yeah.
and I have to say something very interesting to keep in mind. Sometimes a lot of the student comes an exchange student and the experience. It's like putting your toes in the water just to
Yeah.
try, right? Because there is a transition.
Yeah.
A lot of them come back
Yeah.
to do a master's program because now they're like, I get it. I understand how the system works. I understand the culture. I feel comfortable. I am confident with my English or my legal English. I made friends. I get it. I get it. There is a rhythm and I'm part of it. It's like everything else in life. At first, whoops, what's going on? It's just like me sitting down there just to understand what is going on. This is so awesome. Look up and see the beautiful buildings, right?
Yeah.
But it takes a moment to understand what you are, what you're doing, where you are, and what's happening around you. It's the same thing. But
Yeah.
once you get it, I'm like, okay, wear your tennis shoes. You're gonna walk, you're gonna explore. It's an adventure. It can be an adventure. And again, I'm glad that you're here because, Education USA Prague here and other offices, they have all the information from you. You don't need to know everything. We don't know everything, but there is help. And Honey is here to support you from A to Z, how to make your decision. And then after you make a decision, how do you go about it?
Mhm.
Of
Mhm.
course, you can and you should involve your parents because they are the biggest supporters. And
Mhm.
living in your country, I know and I speak from experience, it's hard.
Yeah.
Like, why would you leave your comfort zone where you know everybody know your food, you know your language, you know how things work, and why would you adventure yourself to a foreigner country? I'll
Mhm.
tell you why. Because it's called transformative experience. You're never going to be the same person. It's perspective. It's opening the horizon, literally speaking,
Mhm.
because
Mhm.
you're learning, you are expanding yourself, and you can't be the same person. But I promise you, come back home grateful for the opportunity
Mhm.
because now you've seen the world, you have at least part of it. So that's the beauty of education is a pathway
Mhm.
to become a better human being. I would just say like that.
I second that completely. And you guys, if you don't believe us, it's totally okay. We don't look, you don't have to believe us, but I'm happy to connect you with students, with Czech and Slovak students who went through this path. And I want you to talk to these people and I want you to hear their experience because that's what sells. And they're going through it right now or they've just finished. And so if you are interested and if you have any questions, let me know and I'm happy to connect you. Or ask Adriana. She is from the McGeorge Law School and she's also happy to connect you with international students so you can ask your questions or you can talk to someone who is in your shoes, basically, who is living it right now.
You're right, honey, and you are absolutely right. And I
Yeah.
can't emphasize more than this because we are the people that you want to connect with because you are going to hear from students,
Mhm,
students
mhm,
from Czech Republic or Prague or the region that
mhm,
have gone to schools. I'm talking about McGeorge, of course, because that's where I am coming from.
mhm,
However, there are many, many universities and schools that, students have come and have been successful.
mhm,
They are the alumni. They are the people that want to help you.
mhm,
They know the way, they've done it, and
mhm,
they understand it, and they want to help you. So you are successful too. Because every time when we are happy, when you're successful, you want to
mhm,
pay forward. And we can connect you with the right people. So that way you don't have to start from zero. There's
mhm.
always support everywhere you go. It's super important. And I'm
Yeah.
sure your parents will appreciate that. No, the question I'm asked is, Adrienne, you're from Brazil,
Mhm.
right? You've gone through all this. I'm still living this, guys. It never stops because you learn every day.
Uh-huh.
Now, as an employee, but before I was a student, just like you guys, very insecure, a
Mhm,
little confused, and a lot of fears, a lot of uncertainty.
mhm,
There is there's a plan. You
mhm,
don't, it's us here to support you, to tell you from A to Z what you need. And the
mhm,
question that I'm asked the most is why the United States? Why is it so important to have an education from the United States of America? Again, I am talking about the United States, but this applies to any other continent in the world where you want to be because the analysis that you need to make and ask yourself is the same strategies, the same questions. So for example, for the United States specifically,
mhm,
we have the ABA, which is the American Bar Association.
mhm,
The
mhm,
American Bar Association dictates and tells you the universities, the law schools are accredited. In other words, they are official, they're good to go. They
mhm,
are okay with the law, and all students that come to our school will have their credits transferred
mhm,
equally to university. And then, of course, you check with your university about the MOU, the partnerships that they have with other universities, because they already worked out the grades. So, for example, if you come to McGeorge School of Law for an exchange program and we have a partnership, you
mhm,
don't have to worry about how am I going to get the grades in. It's already worked out for you. All you have to do is to come and study and be successful. So
mhm,
it's important as you are doing your research, whether
mhm.
it's law or elsewhere, remember if the school and the university in this case is accredited.
Yeah.
Usually, the law school or the school of medicine or the dentistry, whatever profession you're looking for,
Mhm,
it's underneath an umbrella of a university. So,
mhm.
for example, McGeorge School of Law is underneath an umbrella of the University of the Pacific.
Yeah.
We are associated with a university. This is huge because the university itself has many schools. One of these schools is the School of Law, but there is the
Mhm.
School of Medicine. There's the School of Health and Science for
Mhm.
those who want to become a doctor, etc. So
Mhm.
it's important to be associated, not only because of reputation, but accreditation.
Yeah.
It's legal. You can transfer your credit and it's all good at the end of the day. So that's
Mhm.
something to keep in mind as you're doing your research, as you're asking Honey. Of course, they are unbiased. There are so many schools, but that's something that you need to keep in mind.
For sure.
And then, okay, so you found a school, it's
Mhm.
a credit, it's good to go, but why? Why would you come to the United States? Again, other than the knowledge that I told you guys about the common law system specific for law, but it
Mhm.
could be for any other area,
Mhm.
it's the professional profile, it's the foreign international knowledge.
Mhm.
Here's the key, international knowledge. Nowadays, everything is global.
Mhm. Yeah.
We are in this new era. Everything is electronic. Everything is it's evolving so fast, technology. Whether
Mhm.
you're doing law or not, you are doing law.
Mhm.
Really, because even here at Zoom, where we are doing, or all the data privacy acts that are happening as we speak,
Yeah.
it's something that's evolving. So
Mhm.
it doesn't matter what profession you're in, you're going to be dealing with law because you're hiring employees or you attorneys or you are doing business with the small business or you're opening your own business,
Mhm.
whatever it is, there's always paperwork related that
Yeah.
you're going to have to deal with the law opening and closing a business, right? Customer service, whatever it is.
And doesn't have to be a job. It can be your personal life. You will be buying a house, you will be getting married. Like that's all included. So you guys are all 1 foot in the law education, no matter what.
You're
Yeah.
right. It's about knowing your rights,
Yeah, true.
protect your family. In
Uh-huh.
fact, a lot of the law students, including myself, most of them do have a personal connection with the law.
Mhm.
Like for me, it was the fact that, my dad had a situation with the law that I felt that we didn't know how to protect ourselves unless you
Mhm.
can hire a lawyer and pay a lot of money, right? It's like, how
Mhm.
can I not know that? This should be open or accessible to population, to the
Mhm.
world. Why are just for few?
Yeah.
Again, education is a privilege, you guys. It's not a right protected
Mhm.
by some of the constitutions and some words.
Mhm.
You know, so for example, in the United States itself, when I saw the Constitution, I was very excited because I thought maybe education is a right protected by the Constitution that tells us what's right, what's wrong,
Mhm.
and it's not. So I want you to ask yourself, is
Mhm.
education a right protected by the Constitution here in the Czech Republic? Do you
Mhm.
have the right to have education or not? I
Mhm.
know from a fact that a lot of the European countries do not charge for education. Education in the United States is very expensive.
Mhm.
I say this because it's an investment.
Yeah.
And that's why you have to do the cost benefit.
Mhm.
Why would you pay or invest a lot of money going overseas when you can have your education done at home? That's
Mhm.
a great question. I don't blame you, and I want that's why we're doing this. It's for you to think about. A lot of people do go overseas and they pay good money.
Mhm.
It's
Mhm.
worth for you. Maybe yes, maybe not. There's no right or wrong answer. There is
Mhm.
what's right for you within the budget, within the scholarships. We're going to talk about it in a little bit
Mhm.
that schools offer that make it feasible for you to go overseas and experience the world.
Mhm.
So it kind of depends. Everything has a price. If you stay or if go, it's going to cost you either way because it's an investment of time and energy and knowledge to
Mhm.
become better, professionals in whatever area.
Mhm.
So, other than the knowledge, other than
Mhm.
exposure, and the ability to become a licensed lawyer in the United States, you can now also be a licensed lawyer in two jurisdictions,
Mhm.
back home here in the Czech Republic and the United States.
Mhm.
You're powerful. It's because of the knowledge. It's because the ability you can work virtually speaking anywhere in the world. International law you can do from your home country, from your living room, because it's all over the internet nowadays. International contracts. Look, I've been talking to Honey from California. I'm now here in Prague. You know, we are closer than ever.
Yeah.
But we're still doing via Zoom. And you guys are listening to this. I don't even know where you are, but I'm sure it's going to go to the world,
All over. Yeah.
all over.
And
So,
because we speak English, it's not only for you guys in the Czech Republic, because there is that English aspect, anyone can listen to it. So yeah,
yeah,
it's very powerful. Yeah.
it's very powerful. Yes, it's, if you
Hmm.
think about it, it's insane
Hmm.
what kind of business you can do.
Yeah.
So again, all these approaches and tools that we are sharing with you today, it can be applied to any area of law, any profession.
Hmm.
It's just think about as an inner reflection about what you want to do, where you are,
Hmm.
you know, the pros and cons, budget, scholarship. How can I make this a dream come true? If that's your dream, it's not for everybody, and that's okay.
Hmm.
That's okay. There's nothing wrong. You know, it's just opportunities for those who are interested in exploring them, right? How are you doing? Okay. I know it's a lot of information. We are excited. You know, it's good to learn. But of course, feel free to answer to send your question and we'll be able to answer them.
Yeah.
Speaking of having a goal, right? Have you thought
Hmm.
about your career goals? That's important because it's going to give you a guideline as to what path to take, many paths. We started this conversation about the pathways to
Hmm.
get where you need to be. So it's very important to have clarity, to have a focus on what's the ideal career for you. And again, this is a big question, and you may not know even what career you want to have, or if you don't have one, or what is the title of your profession. And that's okay. Maybe this is a preliminary question to think in the ideal world.
Hmm.
Do I like to go to the office? Do I like work from home remotely?
Hmm.
Am I a people's person? I need that community, or can I work well by myself? This is how my brain works.
Hmm.
In the ideal world, you know, do you want to live in a big city or in a small town?
Hmm.
Do you want to live on the beach? Do you want to live in a, you know, small area? It doesn't matter.
Hmm.
It's your dream, it's your goal, it's about you.
Hmm.
But having clarity, what's important to you, it's very important. It's a first step.
Hmm.
And if there is an area of specialization for law specific, there are so many areas, right?
Hmm.
Uh, but in other careers too, do you want to specialize in a, you know, in a specific area, or do you want to have a broad knowledge? For
Hmm.
lawyers, you can be, you know, a a family law, let's say, a lawyer, but you can also do contracts. You can also do international business,
Hmm.
right? You have a broad knowledge, or
Hmm.
some of them, like dentists or doctors, they have a specialization. You
Hmm.
want to see a knee doctor or a brain doctor, right? Or just a family doctor, a general practitioner.
Hmm.
So you can choose specific areas of law, but you can start broad and start funneling to see where you belong.
Yeah.
And sometimes this takes time because it's kind of about trying and error. Just go here, go there. It's like a job.
Hmm.
You know, most of us have a lot of jobs or are in the process of getting a job and trying to figure out where you belong.
Hmm.
This is a natural path.
Hmm.
There'll be a lot of, I don't say mistakes, but it is different ways or challenges that you
Hmm.
haven't considered to take you where you need to be. So it takes time.
And yeah, don't worry if you change your mind. Like, I know that we are evolving as well. So if you change your mind, it's not, you don't have to start all over again. Like, you've done enough. So you can always switch, and you can always broaden the focus that you have. Yeah.
Exactly.
Hmm.
And you're right. It's about I would say you have to have flexibility.
Hmm. Hmm. True.
You adjust accordingly.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hmm.
And just to give, again, it's about the law, but it's also about international business. A lot
Hmm.
of the areas that are very popular from students from all over the world is
Hmm.
about international business law.
Hmm.
And again, it requires a little bit of more specific knowledge
Hmm.
that you can acquire throughout the school, that you can acquire also throughout the OPT, which is the training portion of it, hands-on practice.
Hmm.
So it kind of depends on what is your goal, where you want to be, what kind of knowledge you need to be that, powerful to do the work that you need to do,
Yeah.
right? Because
Hmm.
knowledge, again, it's power. So it's it's understanding the knowledge that you're going to bring with you, the knowledge that you're going to acquire, the network that you're going to be doing
Mm-hmm.
during the class, you
Mm-hmm.
know, uh, thinking about globally.
Mm-hmm.
It's a global economy.
Mm-hmm.
When you turn on, like I turned on the TV and I was trying to find a channel in English
Yeah.
because I unfortunately your language is beautiful, but it's new to me. So I
Uh-huh.
was kind of laughing because I was watching not really watching, but I was just observing the Disney cartoons in
Yeah.
their language.
Yeah. That's
And I
cool.
thought it was the cutest, but I was like, I have no idea what they're talking about.
Yeah.
But by the body language and by the context, I
It
kind of
helps.
imagine what this is
Yeah.
about. But it was so much fun, right? But again, it's thinking globally, the
Mm-hmm.
economy, the law, the data privacy. This is
Mm-hmm.
everywhere.
Yeah.
So again, it's artificial intelligence,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Digital assets. All this has to do with the law. All this has to do with business.
Mm-hmm.
All this has to do with the knowledge as the world evolves. And
Mm-hmm.
here you see at the end soft skills like mediation,
Mm-hmm.
geopolitical sensitivity, negotiating with foreign governments critical to success.
Mm-hmm.
Anything that's international, there is always that fine line that you need to be aware of the world.
Yeah.
I like here in Europe, is comparing in contrast with the United States, for example, just because geographically, you guys are, it's easy to travel
Mm-hmm.
and you understand how the politics really impact
Mm-hmm.
your country and the countries, the neighboring countries.
Yeah.
Um, And this is something that is an awareness
Mm-hmm.
that I feel you guys are very privileged, living in the heart of Europe, hearing from different sides, being aware
Mm-hmm.
of things that perhaps me in the United States are more protected or away from that awareness.
Yeah.
Unless I am really connect with the news, I don't know what's happening.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel here it's pretty obvious. It's, everywhere. And I think this is great. It's
Mm-hmm.
knowledgeable and awareness. That's where we're talking about global
Mm-hmm.
awareness, soft skills, right? Interaction with the human being,
Mm-hmm.
right? And trying to figure it out ways to peacefully come to a resolution. At the end of the day, this is all we want to be safe
Mm-hmm.
and happy.
Mm-hmm. 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 True.
Okay, we are finishing up. I just want to bring for you to consider what are the benefits and
Mm-hmm.
most important, the resources. What do we start? How can I get help? Again, you need to consider your academic success. Does the university, does the school support you? Do they have a team to guide you through job search
Mm-hmm.
or how to prepare your resume? In fact, I know Education USA, they have excellent programs and it's all for free that help you to put together your curriculum vitae, your resume, you
Mm-hmm.
know, interview techniques, super important,
Mm-hmm.
right, honey? Do you want to speak on that a little bit?
Yeah, guys, we did a live stream as well this past year about how to put together your resume, your CV, what are the differences, and most importantly, how it differs from the Czech Republic, because you are going to make a totally different one for applying to a job in the Czech Republic or for applying to a job in the United States. So what the biggest differences are. Also, I'm super happy to schedule an online meeting with you and we can practice some questions. If you're interviewing for universities or interviewing for a position, I am really excited to pose questions in English and give you feedback and, just reach out and I'm here for you.
Beautiful. Take advantage, guys, because this is an amazing service that you
Mhm.
get it for free, and
Exactly. Yeah.
it's accessible, right?
Mhm, mhm,
So you need to take advantage, right, of
mhm,
all the
mhm,
resources available.
mhm,
And the benefits are, always considering the kind of career support system that the university, the law school, or whatever institution you're looking for
mhm.
give to their students. There's a lot. Visa. I mean, do they support you getting a visa?
Yeah.
I know Education USA does work with the embassy, so there's a lot of
Mhm,
support there to get your
mhm,
visa taken care of. For some schools, they do offer on-campus housing, which is very
mhm.
helpful and easy and safe. That
Especially for internationals. Come on. Yeah.
Absolutely. You don't have time, you don't know the cities like me
Yeah.
trying to figure out where do I want to live? Do I want to live by the river? Do I want to live in downtown? I don't know, right? So it's just to think about those things you don't need to worry about. We will take care of you, right? We'll
Mhm.
support you with those things that are very important. Now,
Mhm.
just to give an idea, what kind of document, if you're thinking about coming to the United States, you
Mhm.
can start getting ready now, just because, you're going to be asked to complete an online application.
Mhm.
Some schools charge, some schools are for free. So think about it, the ways you can apply different platforms. Usually, generally speaking, if you apply via the website of the school you're applying for, usually there is no fee. Okay.
Mhm.
Or you can
Mhm.
ask for a waiver. I don't know. You ask and you shall receive. Negotiate with the school. Okay.
Mhm. Mhm.
Transcripts, your law school transcripts, your school transcripts.
Mhm.
Uh, remember, they have to be issued in English. If not, you're going to have to be translated to English
Mhm.
so they can read it.
Mhm. Mhm.
Uh, Usually they ask for a personal statement. I love this document, guys. It's basically your time to rise and shine.
Yeah.
Tell the school who you are,
Mhm.
your dreams, how
Mhm.
can the school support you,
Mhm.
right? And what you're going to do about it, you
Mhm.
know?
Mhm.
So schools love to know who you are. Your resume already tells a story. They
Mhm.
tell you where you went to school, where you work, important information.
Mhm.
But the
Mhm.
personal statement, it's personal. It's you as a human being,
Mhm.
the
Mhm.
challenges and I would say the achievements that you have made, the progress throughout your life.
Right.
So
Yeah.
this is the time that you don't be humble. Say it.
Uh-huh.
I won an award, I published a book, or participate in this, I volunteered. This is about who you are, your persona, your personality. This
Mhm.
is the only chance you have to say things like what inspired you. Did you have a legal problem, for example, and that
Mhm.
became,
Mhm.
you know, your career because now you want to find solutions, whatever that might be, say
Mhm.
it, share it. This is your chance. Okay. You're going to need your resume, your curriculum vitae, a letter of
Mhm.
recommendation. Remember, this has to be asked ahead of time. Professors, employers are busy people. So
Mhm.
if you're thinking about going next year, so you can start working on this documentation now,
Uh-huh.
right? Always ahead of time. And
Mhm.
then the English language proficiency, it's important to have it. Nobody's asking for perfection. I'm still working on my English. It's the minimum necessary to be able to understand it, the
Mhm.
class in English. That's it. It's not to stop you from coming to America or any other country.
Mhm.
It's basically to have a conversational English to be successful. And you guys are great. You guys are intelligent. I mean, I'm talking to everybody in English. It's been a wonderful experience here. I got lost many times. I've been to the same street 15 times. But I love it because I'm exploring and I am just pointing it out and people are talking. It's great.
That's
So
awesome. That's awesome. And I see you guys here watching live, which is wonderful. I don't see any questions so far, so I think that we're just very clear, or you just need to think about it. But this application checklist is amazing. And if you guys are stuck on one of these, or if you need help, or if you just need a consultation, we are here. And I'm happy to pair you up with a native speaker who can help you polish your personal statement, or who can give you a feedback on your I don't know, transcripts, or I can provide a list of official translators that you can use, unless you don't know where to go with your transcript. So there is no stupid question. Always ask, and I'm happy to answer. Yeah.
beautiful. See, there's a lot of help, and you guys are lucky that you're here. A good decision, or you're going to watch this later. Doesn't
Yeah.
matter. It's coming to you. The information is coming to you via the Education USA Prague here in the Czech Republic. Now, timing is everything
Yeah.
in life, as you know very well, right? It's about knowing the earlier, the better, to give
Yeah.
yourself time to process things, to
Mhm.
not be in a rush, because we don't want to be stressed. This is supposed to be fun. And
Mhm.
there
Mhm.
will be, moments of stress, which is life.
Yeah.
For the most part, is to be a smooth transition to a new country.
Mhm.
Okay. So you are already connecting with us here. So that's check. Good
Mhm.
job for you. Scholarship. When you're talking a scholarship, and if I have time, I want to show you our website that shows us a list of scholarships that you can apply.
Mhm.
Um, In fact, Education USA, Czech Republic has a list of all the, I'm sure Honey can assist you with that
Mhm,
position from your country as well. But
mhm,
from the United States and from our school, we also have scholarships that you can look for.
mhm,
If it's not on the website, you can definitely should ask the admissions officer, people like me that
mhm,
support
mhm,
students to come to our institution. And you need to apply early because if you're thinking about next year, you have to apply now. You need to understand what the requirements are because you may not qualify yet. But if you do qualify, then you want to be on the top of your game.
yeah.
Deadline. If you're thinking
Mhm,
about, for example, fall 2024, which is now in August,
yeah.
it's a little tight. It's already June.
Yeah.
But you say, you know what? I don't have time, but let me think about the spring 2025,
Mhm,
January.
mhm,
You have time to apply, you have time to receive your application, to receive whatever it is, award. You
mhm,
have a budget. Now you know the school has given you this percentage. You have received another percentage. You get a little bit of here, a little bit of there, and make it
mhm,
a dream come true because it becomes possible,
mhm.
right? Something you may want to ask the school. You should ask the school, is there a way that you can work? And
Yeah.
I say
Mhm,
work, which is basically part-time because you comply with the immigration laws, but you also have a source of income because
mhm,
things are expensive, right? So
mhm.
you can also uh, really balance studying and also working part-time because that's what the law allows. So
Yeah.
that way it helps you financially,
Yeah.
okay? And then the visa, the sooner the better, right? And I'm sure
Exactly.
again, Honey can assist and working with the embassy to get you guys what you need in order to be successful. Okay, we're finishing up here. Ah, look.
We made it.
Woo! Yes.
It was amazing. Thank you so much. I would love for you to share the scholarship website that you
Yes.
mentioned because for you guys and when you can pull it up. But in the Czech Republic, we do have foundations that can help you financially. Even if you are in your master's degree education, definitely reach out. I am so happy to connect you or send you the list. If you are in your bachelor's degree education, there are even more of them for you to, reach out to. But let's wait. What else do we have here? Because I know that the finances are a big part of this decision. So let's see.
Hey, honey, can you see my screen?
Yes, yes,
Okay,
I
I'm trying
do.
to make it bigger, but for some reason, anyway. So here, and I'm happy to share to Honey, and she can share with you guys.
Mhm.
Usually the schools, they do have a list of scholarships available. So
Okay.
for example, here, McGeorge School of Law, we
Mhm.
list by country. So I think you can see the one that's highlighted, for example,
Yeah.
Kellner Family Foundation Scholarship from
Uh-huh.
all the Czech Republic students. And if you scroll down,
Mhm.
another
There is
one,
one more. Yeah.
yes. So
Oh,
Nada
Sophia.
Sofia.
Uh-huh.
And I think there's more here under
Okay, that's really good. Yeah.
but again, this is just like there are so many options out there.
Mhm.
Sometimes you're not aware of it. And
Yeah.
of course, at the top we have here, Education USA.
Yeah.
So you never go wrong here with Education USA, guys. This is a great start for you to
Uh-huh.
start your research, like Fulbright here with
Mhm.
Honey. You have the connection. You need to ask your questions. You need to find out where the money is. There's money available for those who want to study in the United States or
Mhm.
other countries. You just need to have a guidance from our friend Honey here. So
Thank you. Thank you, Adriana. This was super helpful. I know it can seem that it's a lot, but you guys pause this live stream. Like breathe in, breathe out. If you have questions, you saw our email addresses, reach out and we are here for you. Thank you, Adriana. Enjoy Prague. And I hope that more Czech students come to study law at your institution.
thank you so much, Dekui. I'm learning. I Please, even if you don't come to my institution, I would prefer you come. But if you don't, and if you need any assistance, you have my information. You can also reach out to Honey, and I'm happy to support you to make your dream come true.
Thank
Thank you so
you.
much, Dekui.
Děkuji.